Good morning, crew. It is Martin Luther King Day, 20th of January, 2025, and it's -8 degrees C this morning. It's gorgeous down here. Check this out. Get a little ice on the side. Look how clear the water is. Ah, it's gorgeous. Ducks on the far bank. The sky's looking beautiful. Oh, it's just lovely. Just lovely. So I'm going to set this camera up right here, right next to the water this morning. Yeah, so I had a great soak this morning. It was, there's something about the really cold days, and I know this is not a really cold day for you in Minnesota, but um, the water temperature, I'll say at the end here, when I looked at the thermometer, it was 1.1. So it's about 37, I think. Actually, it's less than that. It's like 34. Yeah, so 34 degrees. That's cold. Um, but it was great. It just felt really nice. And I know with the camera you can't see the view that I'm seeing, but the sunlight during the 6 minutes I was in the water, the sunlight hit the the houses that I'm looking downstream at, and all the buildings and the trees, and just light them up with that kind of golden morning glow. And the ducks. I don't know if you can see in this video, but there were four ducks on the far side of the river that just sat there the whole time that I was in the water. Two of them flew off. When I get out, you'll see, if you look carefully, right after I get out of the water, they fly away. But yeah, it was just really, really lovely, lovely uh, morning soaking in the water. So, like I said, today is Martin Luther King Day, and we're putting on a celebration at the Baha'i Center, where we're going to have a few quotes and just a dinner with everyone who wants to come. Um, some of our neighbors are going to come. I don't know who all else put up posters. We have them. We've had this every year the whole time we've lived here. I think they've been doing it for over 30 years here in Pendleton. And it's interesting contrasting. I went back and listened to King's "I Have a Dream" speech, and there's video of it, and you see the people in the crowd, and I don't know. It's inspiring that these people are imagining a world which is much more like the world we have today than the world they had in 1960s. Was it 67, 68? Like, that was the year we were born. Um, and the world is much better, in spite of everything that's wrong with it. And of course, you can contrast that with the fact that today is the inauguration. And I saw yesterday that um, that our esteemed president has launched two new cryptocurrencies, meme coins as they're called now, um, to capitalize on his popularity as the incumbent president. Launched them both in the last few days. One is called Trump, and one is called Melania. And they're capitalized at close to $20 billion, I think, now, meaning that his supporters and speculators who think they can make money have put $20 billion into these two things that are invented out of thin air, and that both of which, I believe, 80% of the ownership stake goes into the founders. So the people who invested in it only own 20%. And the there are terms under which the founders can liquidate their shares after a certain amount of time. Um, and this is classic. I've been following some of the cryptocurrency scams, but this is a classic situation where the founders are going to um, liquidate their shares, after they're allowed to, which is, I think, 90 days on the Trump currency, and I think it's less than that under the Melania currency, and start liquidating their shares, which will cause the entire um, currency to collapse, and they'll get all the value. And this is what happened with the stock markets in the 1920s. you know, and 100 years later, I think we're seeing the same thing. I mean, with cryptocurrencies, and there's reason why we have all the governance of the stock market. And here we have, the leader of our country basically, trying to steal $20 million uh, from everyday people. And I realize that number is not exactly right. I don't know how to calculate the exact number, but basically what they're doing is they're taking money from people who can't afford to lose the money, and siphoning it into their own coffers. And if you want to collapse the economy, preventing people who have to spend money from having the money that they need to spend, that's one way to do it. It's a little bit hopeless, but it's crazy to think about. The way that I think the problem with bubbles and with these economic leveraged situations is that when people think something has value and they misappraise the value of something, so that they think it's worth more than it is, and they put money into it, that's when you lose money, right? That's when you have a bubble, and that's how people go bankrupt. That's how huge swaths of society end up not being able to pay for things, which then stops the economy from functioning because there's no money to circulate, because the money is all concentrated in the hands of a few people who don't have to spend it. And that's what cryptocurrency is. I mean, that seems to be the only real purpose of cryptocurrency at this point. Is to siphon money. So you've got two types of people who are investing in a cryptocurrency like Trump or Melania. I mean, those are the names of the cryptocurrencies, not the names of the people. And one type is a cynical person who knows what's happening and plans on getting out early, thinks they can make money off everyone else. So basically, they want to steal other people's money. And the other people are people who don't understand what they're investing in, and are basically the suckers. I mean, that's who you've got investing, because there's nothing there. So you either are investing because you think you can get money from other people, or you're investing because you don't understand it and you think it's a wise thing to do. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Regardless of all the depressingness of this video, I'm really happy. I had a great soak this morning, had a good workout. Hope you have a good one. Finally got a really cold day. The water temperature was 1.1, which is good. And my gloves were frozen to the cement when I pulled them off. So that's proper cold. So I'm prepping, getting ready for the trip to Minnesota.